Okay, welcome guys to second gathering of the year for Littlefish. We've been away for a few weeks, trying to reorganize and capture our thoughts and chart a path for 2023. For the last 2 weeks, me, Jem, Donald, MJ, and Amir have been away working on charting a path for Littlefish in 2023. I'm going to take you on what we did. We ran something called a design sprint, a modified Littlefish design sprint that we kind of tried to solve a bunch of different problems at once, mostly about the product, like what are we trying to build, how can we build it, how can we do it effectively, where should we start, where should we go from, where should we go. So we revamped the Littlefish app that we were building, so start from scratch to bring in a few more ideas that we wanted to implement. I'm going to take you on a journey and see what we'll be doing in 2023. Please, if you have any questions at any point, please use the emoji or just jump in and interrupt, no problem. So this is what we did at a very high level. We started here with the design sprint stuff. Hopefully you can see my screen. And then we kind of went into many different directions with ChatGPT guiding us all. But this is what we tried to do at the start. We said we were running this design sprint in order to find the spirit of the Littlefish game. So very early on, Jem and we aligned on like, okay, let's just build something that is very similar to a game or like very gamey, because we wanted this to be something fun. We want to take the first step in building the Littlefish game. We want to bring together Littlefish concepts of action, call to action, the ikigai, and reward sharing into a meaningful whole. These were so far separate things that we want to do, but kind of connected in different ways. We want to understand like how do they connect and what should be the path. One thing that we've been suffering from, I think, is doing a bunch of different things that are going different directions and not being able to focus on all of them at once. So it's all about like aligning all of the efforts of Littlefish into one strategy in 2023. And we want to make sure what we build is fun. So by the end of the design sprint, we want to have a working prototype we can show. We didn't get that. We kind of did a more general framework for it. But we do have a clear understanding of the next steps to make the app available. Hopefully, going to show the roadmap very soon in this call. And we have a product roadmap with clear milestones, which we developed. So we did a bunch of different things in the first few days to try to understand. One of the highlights was these lightning demos of things that we could use in our apps, in our app, that the ideas that are in different applications that we could use. Or maybe we could focus on here. So the sprint questions we selected was, well, how do we make a self-unaware person create a persona? So we were focusing on the ikigai part and like Littlefishifying it. Can we help the individual reach their goals in a fun way? And can we remove the obstacles from the individual expressing their values and reaching their true potential? So we wanted to focus on the ikigai, but do it in a Littlefish way in a game. So the ideas were, we take a look at games like Hearthstone and ideas there, like game cards, and like habit tracker type of things, kind of do a very limited version of what we wanted to do, just the productivity bits. But most people who use them don't really get that benefit because it takes a lot of discipline. We take a look into things like meditation apps, and using ChatGPT as our second brain, as the personal assistant, so we can do quite a bit of things. And we also taken a look at real games, what they look like. Like RPG game elements seemed really nice, so this is something that we wanted to implement. So just imagining ourselves as RPG game characters that we can role play as, and things like maybe if you taking a look at the ETH universe, the crypto zombies, to learn about learn about the Ethereum Solidity development thing. So, and also things like this about your character. Uh, so with these ideas, we went ahead, did a few sketches, scratched a few sketches more. Those were offline. Then we went ahead, like asking our little personal helper, that is ChatGPT, a lot of things. Uh, so we focused on like how do we apply some of the philosophers of mindfulness? How do we implement those ideas into our application? Uh, we taken a look at the Jung archetypes as a method of maybe creating character classes that we could use. And then we've taken a look at RPG game systems, like tabletop RPG game systems, because these create characters and let you role play as them. So a lot to learn from there. And I had a chat with a dungeon master this past, I think 2 days ago, to explore like how we could actually use these ideas in character creation in that ikigai bit. Uh, this idea, especially, I quite loved, is something called an aspect that players can choose. It's just a few words that describe what they are. So things like a corporate climber, a eco warrior, an innovative entrepreneur. So these kind of describe the individual in a few words in a very storyfied way. So I want to have something like that too uh, in the characters that we built. And one thing that Emir found was that we really liked was mapping the emotions of things to identify what part of something is your ikigai. So if you're feeling contentment about something, it kind of maps here. Okay. If you're feeling interest, confidence, excitement, it maps here. Feeling pride at something, it maps here, and so on. So we explored this idea as a method to extract, like build an ikigai in a very, very quick fashion. Um, so all of those ideas led us down to right here. Let's see. So the Little Fish app is going to be a game of legendary characters called Little Fish, and these are all of us, little individuals. What we're going to do is start with the idea of ikigai and turn that into your character profile. So then this is something that is evolving over time, just as a role-playing game. We want to build a basic character creation screen that you can go through in 5 minutes or less, and then create your own character. And based on that character, um, uh, that character has your skills, your values, your past experience, expertise, needs, and some other gamification elements that we'll be figuring out on the way. Uh, like some of those elements I showed you about the RPG games. And once you have that, we want to include something called an aspiration. So this could be like a 3-month goal, a one year goal that you want to hit, something that you want to do that is not trivial to do. So it's not as basic as like I don't know, just watch a video. It's more like I want to learn something. I want to get a 6-figure job. Like here are some examples. Like I want to learn UI UX. I want to find an online community for myself where I can participate in. I want to get a 6-figure job, a big one. I want to find a co-founder for my project. I want to make a source of passive income. But we want to also include stuff like get into a meditation practice. So these types of aspirations are like you'll be able to create more and more general, but we'll start from the understanding of Web3, Little Fish, Catalyst. What are those types of aspirations that we can get into? And then in time, we want to evolve it into more and more general formats that you can hit. And once we have these, uh, those kind of lead into, okay, so what can you do to achieve these kind of things? We call these your call to actions. If you played like RPG games, these are also called quests. So it could be personal quests that you can create to hit something on the way. So if you're learning UI UX as your aspiration, then you took a course, you say, oh, I want to finish this course. If you want to get a 6-figure job, you're going to have a bunch of different things that you probably need to do. that you're going to create. You will also have network or quests that already exist that you'll be able to take. So call to actions are like just the next step in going to some this big lofty goal of the aspiration. Or they could be just full-on projects that you complete with multiple people. So you can think of them very small or very large. We'll start at the very small side of things. Do the simple thing, do the simple thing, do the simple thing. So some ideas about what these could look like. Explore 3 Catalyst communities. So go to Gimbal Labs, go to C4C, go to Littlefish Call. And once you've done those, you can submit your proofs and then finish the call to action. You've completed the quest, on to the next one. So things like creating a demo project and publishing to GitHub. You can, if you wanted that meditation sessions, you can go to places like AOL to have a meditation session. So we want to be able to match these aspirations to these call to actions. This will be simple at the beginning because we'll have all the data. It will get more and more difficult over time to match these things, and we will need to build in some AI to do this matching quite well. So once you have these, you submit proofs. We already have this idea. What we were thinking about originally was just like we started from here, which is turn your stuff into action NFTs. But rather, right now, it is the last thing in the chain that you do. And you don't submit. This is not quite clear how we're going to go here right now, which means like you're going to go to C4C, Gimbal Labs, and Littlefish calls. You're going to post, you're going to say, maybe I did it, or you're going to post a Zoom call screenshot. Do you want to turn that into an NFT? It's probably going to be up to you. Maybe you want to turn it into an NFT collection that describes your adventure over 3 months about chasing your aspiration. So we're going to kind of experiment with how we're going to implement these actions. But it's going to be probably up to the user to create them or not. So once we have this, then we get to the end of the cycle with you have them as the NFT. You can sell it and then get your reward shared with anybody who participated in that. And here, that idea is deliver a specific project as a team. So imagine a call to action that specifies an exact project delivery. This 1 month project, it's going to take a software developer, it's going to take a marketing person, it's going to take whatever. And this person's going to get 50%, this person's going to get 20%, this person's going to get the rest. And then once they do it, the NFT gets sold and these people get that much money. But that's all at the end of the chain once we have all this. So this will be our early focus, is to get this all out. So we have a roadmap of, in February, thanks to Donald, we're going to launch a very basic alpha that has your character screens with data that we're going to pull in from an Excel sheet to experiment rapidly. And we're going to have your personal CTAs, very basic, that we're going to create and play around with. So we're going to set aspirations. Mine will probably be get to beta, which is right here. So in March, you're going to be able to create your own character. We're going to first do this by doing a lot of surveys. So the Ikigai survey is going to come back with a purpose of like, how do we get people in 5 minutes to create their characters in a meaningful way? So we're going to rapidly iterate with the survey to find a method, and then going to implement that method back onto the application. And then we're going to also add in networks org CTAs, which is basically just like, oh yeah, I'm Gimbal Labs. Here's a CTA that I created, which is like, we have Gimbal Labs Playground, come join. And it'll be something like that. So in April, we want to go ahead with the beta, and the beta means just like, okay, we've iterated internally. We've got it to a point where we feel confident about it to share it in Catalyst. And oops, that's not there. We just want to launch it in Catalyst and want to play around with it with more and more people. And after that, we want to implement the action NFTs into it, then get it ready for the big launch and hit it around the July time. And at that point, these are the features that we want to have. So have a character creation page, CTAs, personal or network orgs, pages for network orgs, and your action NFTs. So you can create whatever you did into actions and then sell them or keep them as collectibles that you're going to keep on forever. And finally, the thing that we have the biggest questions about, but it's going to be an important focus point starting very soon, is how to get to a token that kind of enables all of this going forward, and especially the reward sharing bits. So that's the roadmap. Like to take any questions if you guys have any.
Wow. Just say wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Holy cow. Yeah, that is that's a ton. That's a big I love it. I love the game. Yeah, it's big.
Yay.
Kevin, you're not on mute.
Yeah. So the sprints are now going away, and this is now the main focus of everyone's efforts. Is that true?
I will be getting right to that right in a bit.
Okay. But it's impressive. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey,
focus-
Chetan, I have a small
yeah.
question.
Sure.
So in this process, you also said there'll be people that'll be working with other people to do projects, right? So how do people connect in the game?
So how do you mean, how do they connect in the game?
As in, how do I find other people that want to work on a same project or a similar project? Or
Yes.
Right. So the idea is we have these profiles of you and your aspirations, and we want to be able to build in a matching through that aspiration and those values. So basically, we'll be iterating on just data, just like matching things that you said to what other people say. But over time, we want to add in that AI component that does that much better than us, and that's probably going to be super easy in like 2 months when Microsoft releases their their ChatGPT AI. So it's just going to be probably an AI call of like, okay, I want to build. My aspiration is I want to learn UI UX. Maybe what you need is a mentor, and someone is an expert UI UX designer will be able to boop, come in because they're looking for a mentee or something. You know, we just want to be able to experiment with the types of data that kind of allows this. And over time, it's going to be able to do that better and better. But at the beginning, the method to do it is just manual. We're just going to see, I'm going to create my personal profile. You're going to create it. Curtis is going to create it. And we're going to set aspirations. And then we're going to say, okay, what kind of call to actions kind of actually get us there? And then we're going to just write it down. And we're going to do that all together as littlefish to help make that happen. All right, any more questions?
Yeah, the matchmaking is cool. The Ikigai survey, like character creation is cool. Do you oh, here you go. Will this be all, I mean, what kind of game would it be? Like a site that we use, or is it going to be like an overlay game over like the open web? Will it be like an app? Will it be like kind of like, you know, what? Yeah, like will it be like a game that we play, you know, asynchronously? Is it something that we all come together to do?
So this will be mostly like a social media site that you can hop into. At the beginning, it'll just be your page and the things that you can do. But over time, like it's going to evolve into like, here's all the stuff that other people are doing. You can easily imagine like, here's the value that I really take to heart, like open-mindedness. What's going on about open-mindedness in my world? And then you can select other filters to apply to that, and then see everything that's going on related to that. So that'll be your Twitter feed.
Right. Yeah. I can see that. I can see that as like a bit of a social media, or social media has like kind of a trigger,
So this
you
will
know,
be
it's
like
kind
an
of loaded.
action media.
Yeah, like an
What's
action
going on?
media.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like or to use that old open source protocol, the RSS. Like I'm just imagining it as like everyone's RSS, their syndicated content. Yeah, their action media. Yeah, posting things and reading things from others, and then the networks that are created from that. Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. And that's
And
the timeline. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
And also, I don't think it's a game. It is gamified, but I don't think we should be calling it a game necessarily.
Oh yeah, it's just gamified real life.
Yeah. Has anyone done those life RPG type of things where you're like, okay, I mean, it seems like there are a couple of different, like in your, you know, in the presentation, those sort of like competitive analysis type of things, like other things, like the habit trackers, where you can be like like zombies chase you or something. Or has anyone played that Ethereum Solidity game before?
That's how I
don't
learned.
know
That was actually, it was valuable, very valuable.
You did it? Yeah, you went through it,
Mhm.
Curtis?
Yeah, the zombie, Ethereum zombie chain.
Zombie
Whatever.
something. Yeah.
Zombie. I think it's just called zombie. Yeah, it
Crypto
was actually a
zombies.
it was a good way of learning. It was a little bit easier to handle because it had a specific purpose and a specific training path. If you were to try to use that for any topic, and that might be difficult, but because they had a specific path, it was easier to gamify that.
Right. I like what we were saying about the non-self-aware. Like, I think that's just a powerful thing if you start to think of yourself as a project that you're working on. I don't know how, or from that point of view, it's just like, oh yeah, there are these actions that I'm doing, there's these aspirations. I love the verbiage that you've added, and I know that you all probably spent some good time like figuring out like those words. I can feel Jim's sort of presence in that, like these, like making it fun, making it engaging, and using those gamified elements. Yeah, and like Harsha says, maybe not, it isn't a game, but it is gamified, or there's a game mechanic that makes it fun and engaging, and not feeling like dry and like a report. It's something that you interact with in a game. I guess that's what it is. There's interaction there, and it's social and cooperative.
Going it about like a game, it really got us to think of it as a game, and then that's why like we got into like, okay, what do games do? Like, and then like games like role-playing games like Skyrim, and then like Mountain Blade, those types of things came into play. Before thinking about it like gamification, you're not thinking about actual games. Like
Right.
that a mindset shift kind of helped us out.
Yeah.
Kevin?
Yeah, just very short. I think the gamification can help steer, guide a person.
Yeah.
So it's just helping steer the how to go about. Okay, you build your character first. Okay, and then who are you? Okay, what are your skills? Okay, cool. Because then you help feed the littlefish database, or some kind of knowledge base where you can then help connect other users to collaborate better. And I think that's a neat idea in that sense. Yeah.
Did share a link to Every Life. I kind of came across them through Singularity Net's Deep Fund, but they're in a way evolving Twitter. So the social aspect of it and bringing a lot on chain, but it includes things like, what are your hobbies or topics, sports, food, or astronomy, whatever, in certain locations and events, and just kind of correlating all of that. But I'm wondering if there's like a way, because when you talked about the social aspect of it, that's a whole nother right, project. I mean, you're undertaking something like the size of Twitter to produce it, but maybe maybe the game could leverage a social platform like Every Life or something similar to integrate. And since it is on chain, there's a lot of data that can be used there. I don't know, just some thoughts.
So the fundamental blocks is just a basic network of like, okay, users who create their profiles, and then those users kind of create call to actions that other users can take or they can take, and they can create actions. And once we have those and we have a user base, like building on top things like, okay, let's have a social feed of all that data, that becomes very trivial to actually apply. But the idea is to build the core application of like, I'm just playing a game. I want to do this quest. I want to go ahead and do that call to action. If we can build that, make that into something fun, then it can also serve as that social media type of thing. But that's a secondary concern. And at that point, I think maybe it will be nice to work with these guys like Every Life or some other platform there. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely sort of fits in with my after this reflection period, like the idea of call to actions and that just the action model, which is the littlefish thing. It's just like, look, we spend time, we have experiences, and we build things, and those are actions. And that those actions have value. They have value to us. They have value to others in our community. We work with others in the community, and we have frameworks for doing that. We use the agile sprint methodology, which I think was really great. I hope that we don't lose that. But the idea of it's a quest, it's a call to action that we take on, and that we work with them, and that we have sort of accountability, to ourselves and others in community. And at the end of that, we have something to show for it, and that it changes us, like it somehow like does something to our character or profile that we can sort of show, like a portfolio that allows us to get into other quests, level 1, 2, 3, and 4 quests. I think it makes sense looking back on our experience, like that this is the way it's evolving. So once again, a beautiful pivot from the folks here.
Kevin?
Yeah, so just some thinking here to put into the group. I've talked with Newman a few months ago about this, where you, as a user as a littlefish, you can propose an action, and you can build yourself on that action and hope that other littlefish collaborate with you. But there is also, that's an inflow of help. But it's also, it would be interesting to drive everyone also to help others. So I think in the design of the game, maybe take aware of the idea of making sure that everyone tries to collaborate on other projects that they don't really knew about, and that maybe so that you get a cross. Yeah, I hope you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I think that's a critical point.
Correct me, Newman, how I explained it better last time.
No, that's all right. That sounds great. Yeah, I think people, the cross-pollination and the getting, mixing people, to in that emergent way. Like good things can happen. Systems,
So,
kind of the system parts.
that's one of the important points that we want to hit with like these call to actions. They can be like your personal stuff, or you can go ahead and do these with a bunch of people, and just being able to see other people's what they're doing and then kind of helping them out. That's definitely something that we need to figure out how to kind of technically do and enable people to find those things, those matchings. Like one of the things that popped out was like, we all need a mentor sometimes. Like it's just a base need of whatever we're doing. And somebody's in your circle, somebody that is close by knows that stuff that you're trying to figure out. if we can just make that super simple as just like a notification, here's this person that might kind of help you out. You want to write a cold email, here's a cold email ChatGPT wrote for you. Like, wow, just like very basic. And then it makes it so much easier, that type of thing. But also like creating full-on projects that you can work on with people. And we call those like collective actions that you can take together and earn together with. So that's definitely on the mind.
You know, what that makes me think of is, you know, because what I'm focused on, and I would think what everyone here is focused on, is this sort of reinventing work. You know, that model of new organizational thing that's based around, you know, a decentralized and autonomous, something better than what's happened before, that uses the tools and the affordances of our technology, that, because we do some silly things, that are just habits from the old way of organizing and don't have to be that way. So I think that this way of a story or a framework or a narrative, or like the parameters of working together, really could be a part of this new way to work in a decentralized way, to allow for alignment. Again, another little fish thing. I wish I had some more critical things to talk about, but I'm loving it so far. Harsha, come up with some critical stuff, please. Yeah.
All right, I think we can get into like, what are we doing? What are the next steps? So one thing that I was having trouble with was just like, I have way too many things to do. So hopefully now I've delegated and I feel much better. But these are the things that I'll be doing. I'll be doing the project and product management, product owner of the app. I want to spend a lot of time on this long-term goal of building the token. So I'll be paying more attention to the token learners classes. So I'm going to be setting those up. Those will be weekly calls. I'm going to prepare, and I'm going to, anybody who wants to learn, we're going to be like real hardcore learning, hopefully evolving into a token team that actually builds the stuff. Just general admin stuff. And I'm an advisor on all things littlefish. Jem will be taking his approach in building the app design for us. He'll be also building the website for us. And he is also an advisor on all things littlefish. Donald is our lead dev. He also does investigative journalism sometimes, diving into some of the protocols. But I'll be pushing him very hard to get us through all this. And he's the only dev along with ChatGPT so far. So he's got a lot of work. MJ will be helping us out with the marketing, social media, and getting visibility. So we've been doing a lot of stuff on the wall and nobody's seen it. So she's going to be taking on the responsibility of like, how do we get people to see this stuff? So if you have any ideas, if you want to help out on this, talk to MJ. She's also going to be doing community management, community events. If you want to run a community event, go to MJ, talk to her. And Emir, he's going to be taking on the responsibility of like delivering the proposal. So we don't have the 2-week sprints to run these anymore. Emir is going to be creating a strategy of how we can deliver all this. If you want to work on this stuff, contact Emir, and maybe he'll come up with the sprints, maybe not. But here are the meetings of what we're going to be doing. So we don't have the sprint planning, sprint reviews, the 2-week ones. We don't have org labs or THC. Community gatherings back to the cycle of 2 weeks. We're back to a focus of product. So, and one thing about community that we want to hold is we have this great community. Everybody loves something. Everybody learns about something and knows about something. Let's get into a teaching culture. So what we're going to do is Gimbal Labs playground style teach a fish sessions. So anything you want to teach about, you just hop into this board, write the topic, write yourself, and then at some date, you're going to be teaching us all. And I'm going to drop the link for that in the chat. I'm going to be setting up the dates for this week. Going to send a let us meet to find new dates, new times. We've been kind of struggling with the late time call, so hopefully we can drop them a little bit earlier. So if you're interested, you can sign up to host a session. And also the token engineering learning sessions coming up soon. So what we're going to be doing mostly with is how do we get this out and how do we build these? So we're going to be generating a lot of content like this, like filling this out, like what types of call to actions that we need, kind of writing these kind of descriptions of what we need, and then like this is the conditions of them finishing, and then how do we get people to fill this out? So in the short to medium term, that's the focus, and we're going to run workshops to build those kind of things. So instead of the org labs THC calls, we're going to have these kind of workshops, and we're going to have these running hopefully every week to kind of build this out and iterate on the survey and iterate on the call to actions to build a good database that we can use by the time we launch the beta. And so community participation, how can you get involved in all of this? So if you want to do work on tools of DAO work, Ocean Tech, you want to do research writing for it, you can contact Amir. We're going to be building the character creation systems. This is going to be working by just the survey first. How do we get someone to create their character, put in their skills, their values, the basic informational stuff in like 5 minutes. We're going to figure that out through workshops. I'm going to be designing those workshops and get you guys involved in how we can do those. If you want, you can participate and take initiative to create some part of the system. If you have ideas on like, we can build a great value system that is gamified in some way, go ahead and design something and then push it out there so we can talk about it. And we're going to gamify this very, very much. So think of these types of games. Whoa, lost it. Where am I? So think of these types of games where you have a character that has a bunch of different character stats. So maybe we'll have some high level stats and low level skills. Who knows? Maybe we'll have classes. Maybe we'll have different, yeah, we'll probably won't have different races, or maybe we will. You want to be an octopus? Why not? Maybe you want to be a little Nemo fish? Yeah, why not? I mean, that's what we're going to be designing. So maybe we'll have something like this. That kind of makes sense. Maybe it will be wisdom, and wisdom will bring in, I don't know, deep knowledge about something, deep expertise, intelligence. So we're going to be trying to figure all this stuff out, and workshops are our method to do that. Any questions about that part? Ooh. And right, we're going to repurpose the survey, and then we need to get people answering these for the survey, and we're going to be using the early user base, which is the Catalyst community, the Web3 community. So once we have those, we're going to be able to get a lot of answers and kind of take a look at those results and see if they make sense, build that into like user bases. And once we launch the beta, we're going to need help to get users onboarded to create their characters. Yeah, so another thing is creating the CTAs for adventuring in Catalyst in Cardano. So once you build your character, what are you going to do? You need a bunch of stuff to do, and those are your call to actions. But we need these built in by the time we have the beta. And I hope the Compass will be working on this to kind of build out these types of adventures for those in Catalyst and Cardano. So like, what do you need to onboard to Catalyst? You got to go here, you got to go here. You got to kind of do this, and kind of gamify all of that. And then here's a path about like ADAO builder's path. We can work with ADAO to build that path. We'll do a littlefish community path. We'll do it, whatever. We'll just be working to build more and more of these to generate a lot of content. By the time we have the beta, everybody's going to be having a lot of fun kind of doing this stuff. And also, back to teach a fish. You want to teach a fish? Just hop in this call. I think I posted it in the chat. Drop your name in here. Drop the topic that you want to teach. And one additional thing, we're looking for additional funding sources. So if you want to take on this role of like getting additional funding, this is an active role that you could take. Yeah. And last thing, this isn't a conclusive full list. These are just the things that we have going on starting now. But anything you believe will help the projects, you have the initiative, you can take action. You can ask a team member how you can help to make their job easier. And anything related to somebody's domain, you kind of talk to them and get approval from them to do something on that domain. So that's about it.
That's great. Yay.
I don't have reactions. I can't do reactions on mobile, so I'll just say congrats. It's quite a stretch you guys did there. It's just yeah. Imagine it was quite busy in your minds, like idea storming or something. I think that's the term, no?
Yeah,
brainstorm.
lots of brainstorming.
Mm. Yeah.
This has
Cool.
been brewing like for the past 2 months, I think. It's like, how do we go forward? Like, okay, it's so clear for me now. I know exactly how we go forward, which is good.
Yeah. Oh man.
So few things up in the air, like meeting times. Want to set those? I'm going to be putting a let us meet on Discord to fill that out. We'll probably be starting next week with those calls. Just gonna spend some family time this week and then come back in next week.
Yeah, as far as meetings are concerned, just whatever's on the calendar. It's weird how I wake up and look at the calendar. I go to sleep and look at the calendar. So the Google Calendar, if it's not on there, I don't do it. And so, and if so just if you put it on the calendar, I will be there. I've got time for littlefish, carved out during the week, and I'm looking forward to seeing the new structure and working in the new environment. One thing, one sort of general topic, and we've been talking about this, Nori, in the DAO leadership course, is the concept of a landscape. And one of the things about games, especially, the games that I've played, I can think back on the landscape of them. So, like the different areas of games that in your brain, it's just like landscape and human sort of interaction just go together. So I'm really looking for like it might be a really cool, like, I don't know, maybe an ocean landscape.
Oh, we got the landscape.
Really fun.
I bet Jem would love to tell you about it, but I would suggest that we keep that a secret because it would be much cooler that way. But we thought about that as well. We got
okay, good.
and everything. Yeah.
No, that's so cool, Newman. I was just thinking the same thing about the universe that this game exists in, and a thought that did come to mind is just it made me think of Disco Solaris. I'm not sure if you guys have come across them, but they're a virtual universe, but it kind of has an overlay of reality in the sense, and it's very similar in this concept where you have life and then you have the game universe, but they blend in Disco Solaris. So our CTAs, and our projects that we work towards in the sense of Disco Solaris, it becomes a story, and I'm just curious if thinking about developing the story, even if it's using AI or letting someone who aspires to be a writer create their own virtual story of their avatar, of their character, but it sort of merges with their CTAs and their projects and their aspirations. It's just a fictional version of that, or sorry, a non-fictional version of that.
So the story master here will be Jem. he's got a brilliant story about. I don't want to tell it because
Well, I do
So-
love that sort of hybridization of the sort of story verse and sort of our actual lives, and I think that that playground or interaction between them can be kind of fun. You know, and I'd like to sort of, you know, bring up the wisdom traditions, you know, that, you know, we are the story and the storyteller, we are the created and the creator, and working with those concepts, I think, does bring about a genuine and you know, an authentic experience. When I was a kid, it was all the debate between punk and poser, you know, the inauthentic, the poser, just somebody like wearing the stuff. But I've come to realize that no, we need to use our illusion. Like you know, like there's no way to pin like what is authentic and what is poser. But I do know we're getting to the end of the hour, so I just want to throw that into the recording. What's up, YouTube?
Yeah. And that's a perfect time to cut off the recording and chat offline. Thank you,
There you
guys.
go. Bye.